Before we start, please make sure if you have your camera on, go ahead and cut your camera off. It's distracting trying to do training and then seeing people walking around the house, eating sandwiches. Somebody was eating chicken legs yesterday, and I was just looking at them eating their chicken legs, and I was getting hungry, and it's a lot. So I am glad you are here, and it is officially 3 o'clock. So like I said, I'm your DJ, your host, Jennifer Williams. I am the Instructional Technology Coordinator. We also have on the lines today, Ms. Ijama Johnson and Dr. Casey Hutchinson. They will be moderating our chat. Canvas 103 is not for beginners. So if you have never used Canvas before, then this is not the time. You're not going to be able to follow along, and we're not going to be able to keep going back and trying to explain things. So if you have never used Canvas, this is your very first time even opening up Canvas, I suggest you go back and wait till next week to go to a Canvas 101 course, or you can go to Canvas and click on the help button on the bottom left-hand side, and it'll take you through a self-paced course. So this course today, we're going to be creating a module. So in order to create a module, you have to have some background knowledge already on what Canvas is, how to use Canvas, how to navigate. Also, I'll be speaking specifically to my elementary friends. Hey, elementary friends. We had a secondary training earlier today at 1 o'clock, but today is specifically for elementary. If you are a secondary person, don't worry, you can still stay in, but a lot of the information is geared towards elementary, meaning I'm going to talk about elementary content. So if you want to still know how to make a module or find a module template, you can stay, but you have to have already some background information, meaning Canvas 101, Canvas 102. So those two are prerequisites, okay? So are you ready to party and have a good time? Yes. So we're going to go ahead and get started. First thing I want you to do is I want you to open up a second tab. So I want you to open up a second tab, and your second tab is going to go to Canvas. So go to Canvas, open up your second tab. So one tab you'll hear me, and the other tab you'll have open to your Canvas page. I'm going to start us here at the dashboard. Move you over to the side. Okay, so we're on my dashboard right now, and you should be on your dashboard as well. The first thing I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you a module. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to spend about 20 minutes kind of walking you through what the module looks like, what the template looks like. And then I'm going to have you go into the comments, insert my module into one of your pages, and then we're going to be building together. So my module is called the NCSS Sample Blended Learning Module. And before we start straight off the back from the beginning, let's talk about what a module is. So a module are pieces, different pieces that you may have created, a quiz, an assignment, a discussion, pages, all put together in one learning package, right? So the students can have access to various modules. You can create a module either from a unit. You can create a module based on a standard. You can create a module based on a certain amount of week 1. I wanted to put my reading lessons, my math lessons, my science lessons, my social lessons, social studies lessons for the week in one module. So as an elementary teacher, especially a home teacher, you probably teach everything, or you know, and when you teach everything, sometimes it's so hard, especially in the times we're in now, to go ahead and have everything in one place and without getting distracted. So a module can help keep you grounded, kind of keep your students organized. So if I were you and I were a home teacher and I taught all the subjects, maybe for this week, I would make a module and have all my reading lessons for the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. and I would have another section. And my second section would be my science lesson. And then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then my social studies lesson, maybe my social studies lesson is one topic. And for the whole week, they're going to have a topic that they're going to research for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and so forth. And even the special teachers can collaborate with you on different activities that you can put within your lesson. The sample I'm showing you is standards based. So I chose one standard and I created the module on that standard, and it can go through a matter of several weeks. So here is my sample blended learning module. And I'm going to click into the first tab. And the very first tab says do not publish. So this is a note to the teachers that says do not publish. So let's get started. I give you this teacher note page just for you. It's just for information for you to know, but it's not for your students. So in this module, it's broken up into various parts. It has the standard, it has the essential questions, it has an assessment, a pre-assessment, and a post-assessment, a review activity, an extension activity, and a discussion, as well as vocabulary activities. You'll notice that in the module, there's a previous button and a next button. As you go through the module, it's linear, so you're supposed to progress forward. But if you want to go back, then you can always go backwards and say, hey, what did she say before? Or what was I supposed to do? What was the standard again? You can always go back within this lesson. So this is my sample to you. I'm showing you the sample so that when you go and make your module, you have a frame of reference. So this page explains the background information related to the module, and it's the overview of the topic. And it can be broken up, just like I told you, by week, by standard, by big idea, by concept, by unit, by theme. So my sample that we're going to do today is physical and chemical changes. Do you see that? So everything in this module is going to be based off of physical and chemical changes. So here's my note to my students. This week, you're going to be learning about physical and chemical changes. Last week, we learned all about matter and the various states of matter. Now, that's a lot of words, right? So let me show you this. If I go here to the top right-hand corner, you see where it says Immersive Reader? I can click this button, and now it's going to read it to me.
Module Introduction. This page would explain the background information related to this module and present an overview of the topic. A module could be broken up by the week, standard, big idea, concept, unit, theme, etc.
Okay, do you like that? Great, I'm glad you like that. This is great because you're giving directions to your students, but sometimes either maybe your student is an EL student and all of these words are confusing and they need to actually hear it being read. Sometimes you have SPED students in your class and too much text overwhelms them. So this helps break down those barriers, right? So when we talk about differentiation, our lessons can be differentiated, but they also include support. And this is one way for your students to have support is by using this immersive reader. It's automatically included within your page. So as long as you have text on your page, then the immersive reader will show up for you. I like to put non-linguistic representations on my page, no matter what page I'm doing, just to give my students some frame of reference and so that they can attach a picture with the concept. But the most important part on my introductory page is the standard. So everything I do in this unit is standards-based. I'm not going to make a module that's not standards-based, and the students need to see the standards, right? So they need to see that this is S5P1, and the standard says that they have to communicate and explain the difference between a physical and chemical change. And in this, they have to be able to physically manipulate, separate, and mix materials and construct an argument. So what we're going to do is everything in this module is going to be based on that. For our students, they also need to understand what's expected of them. So before we start, how can we expect them to do something if they have no idea what any of these words you're saying are? So that's why I start my lesson with a a vocabulary activity. And the vocabulary activity can be something as simple as a Kahoot, a Socrative, a Prezi, a Nearpod, a Quizlet. And I found one so easy on Quizlet. It's a physical and chemical change. I click on that. And I'm giving them the physical and chemical change. And then now they can see the vocabulary. This way I'm building background knowledge. So as we begin, they also know that these are some of the words we're going to be referencing. If I'm telling you we're learning about physical and chemical change and you don't know what the word physical or the word chemical means, then the rest of the time they're going to be trying to figure out, hey, what are you talking about? What is this? So that's where our goals come in, right? Our goals and our essential questions. What do you need in order to be successful? Well, now you know what a physical and chemical change is. So I'm going to give you some I can statements. I can identify and explain physical changes by planning and carrying out investigations. I can construct an argument. I can plan and carry out an investigation, and I can differentiate. Where did I get these I can statements? Or how did I get these I can statements? Did I just decide and just make it up? Yes, thank you, Fiona. They're standards, right? So I got the exact wording from the standards, and instead of saying the student will identify, I made it personal. I can identify. Identify what? A physical change. Do I know what that means? Yes, because I got the vocabulary, right? So now I understand that these are the things that I'm going to focus on during this unit, and I am prepared for success. I am ready, and I understand that this is what I'm going to do. Well, a lot of times we need to get information from our students. What do you know? So in this module, we created a pretest. It doesn't mean that you have to give a pretest, because remember, this is all suggestions. Anything you don't like, you don't have to include. But for this module, for our purposes of giving you a template, then we wanted you to know that you have access to, first thing, a quiz, a pretest. We don't have time during this session to teach you how to make a quiz. That's why we said there were some prerequisites before you took this course. But if you know how to make one, but you just forgot, don't worry, you can click here. But before you click here, right click and open in a new tab. If you just open this straight here, then it's going to take you out of this course and into another course to teach you how to make a quiz. So I just gave you a little hint. This is going to give you a video to teach you how to make a quiz. And don't publish this page. This is just for you, in case you forgot how to make a quiz. If you didn't forget, then you can go straight on to the next page to this pre-assessment. Now you can go ahead and press edit and now type in your quiz questions. For our pre-assessment, I'm going to use this assessment later on. So I want to make sure that my questions are questions that I'm going to teach in this module and they're relevant to the standards. I don't want to say, okay, everybody, what are the 3 states that matter? That's not part of the standard. That was a prerequisite before they did the standard. So I want to make sure that everything I put in my assessment is based on this standard, not a different standard, because I want to assess how they know this information. The great thing about this is that if you press edit into the quiz, now the quiz is here and it's ready for you to go ahead and insert your questions, right? So you would just click on questions and then you can go ahead and add the new questions. I personally don't believe in giving 20, 30, 40 question tests. So for my pre-assessment, I may give them a fast 5 questions to see what they know about physical and chemical changes, right? So I'm going to go back and I'm going to click forward. The next part of our module are learning resources. This is where you get the most bang for your buck as far as putting information that's going to be useful for your students. This is where you can go ahead and make sure that you're including all learning styles in your lesson, right? So whether I'm a kinesthetic learner, whether I'm somebody who likes reading, singing, dancing, I'm going to put all that in here for you. So in my module, I included videos. I included books. My daughter loves to read. She does not want to see a video about things all the time. She likes to read about it. So, you know, A great tool is Epic Books. Or if you're in an elementary school that purchased Mayan is fantastic. They have books for science, for social studies, for math that are wonderful that help our students with concepts. I think that I personally I like to look at articles, especially newspaper articles. So I would go to News ELA, which is free to all for the rest of the year. So why not add an article up from News ELA? And then games. I mean, who doesn't like to play a game? Especially in science, I may not have the actual products or the things, the materials in my house, but if I can do a virtual lab, that really changes my mind concept from just reading something on paper and actually physically doing it. And didn't the standard say that they have to do it? So sometimes when they have to do it, manipulate things, finding a virtual game that includes that is going to be really important. So let's talk about some of our favorite resources. One of my favorite resources is Study Jams. Have you guys been using Study Jams? Okay. Well, Study Jams, I see some people saying yes, some people say no, some people have never heard of it. Study Jams is powered through Scholastic. Okay. So it's powered through Scholastic in studyjams.com. So studyjams.com. And when you come in, it's great for 3 through 6. So grades 3 through 6, math and science. Now, Ms. Johnson told me that she used it when she taught middle school. So you can use some of the concept for 6th, 7th, and 8th, depending on the concept and depending on your students, right? So a lot of these things can kind of be used cross grade bands. So for math and science. And our standard was physical and chemical changes of matter. So I found the video. It includes a test, and it has key vocabulary words. So this would be a great resource to use. And I hope that you guys see what I'm going to do. If I want to use this in my lesson, I just highlight the URL, Control-C, I copy. I go back. And if I want to include it on my page, let's pretend it wasn't there and I didn't have it. All I'm going to do is simply make a link. So I'm just going to take this test because I'm going to delete it later. I'm going to highlight it. I go to my link and I paste the URL right there, and I insert the link. And you see that yellow? Now it's a linked object. I really don't want that, so I'm going to have to delete it. So I have videos that are from Study Jams. I also can include videos when I go to my external tools. So here's the drop-down box with external tools. And I can include videos from SchoolTube. It will directly embed. I can insert videos from YouTube. So I can type in YouTube and type physical and chemical changes. Oh, no results found. Interesting. I don't think that's true, but okay, for right now it says no results found for there. But I can go ahead and I can find videos from Safari Montage if I've had saved any videos from there, or from Discovery Education. I know Discovery Education wasn't working yesterday. Oh, it's working today. So I can go ahead and type in physical and it's going to automatically pull up different videos on physical sciences, a video on chemical change. If that's the video I want, I would just press embed. Now, let me tell you some truths of the matter. Whenever you pull a video from Discovery Education, from YouTube, from Study Jams, you need to watch the video first, right? So I'm not just willy-nilly and putting any old video in. I haven't watched it, I haven't previewed it. You're still the teacher. So whatever resource that you're putting in here is a resource that you've pre-vetted. I actually knew that Study Jams video was wonderful. That's why I had no problem putting it in. The video I just chose is from Discovery Education. So I'm 99.9% sure it's fabulous because they vet everything. Their content is curated and double curated. But you just never know, right? So because you never know, I would go ahead and make sure that before I post this, I watch it. Does that make sense to everyone? Yes, because you're the teacher, you're responsible, you don't know what comes up. All right, let's talk about Epic Books. So I told you before that it's a great place to go. So it's GetEpic.com. And I'm on Epic. It's free for educators. So you never have to pay. So if your school does not pay for Mayan and you do not have an account, you go on and get an Epic account today. You will thank me for it later. You will thank me for it later. And I accept all of your appreciation in advance, okay? So if I wanted to find a book about chemical changes, I type in, of course, my search bar, chemical changes, and I see that there is a book here. I teach 5th grade because this is a 5th grade standard, so I hope that the 5th grade teachers are teaching this. And it tells me the book is appropriate for ages 9 through 11, perfect for 5th grade. It gives me the Lexile level. It tells me how many pages and if a quiz is there. So I can assign this to my students. Here's my student. Oh, Jewel, I'm going to assign it to Madison and Morgan and Sekou, and I'm going to assign it to my students. Or I could have checked get class code and I can post my class code. So that's available to your students as well. So it's GetEpic.com. Another cool resource that I really liked News ELA, and I use it all the time, but especially now that your students have free access to it, it's available to them through Clever. Did you know that? If you go to Clever and you click on News ELA, they'll be able to get the information they need. Even with my students, if there's younger students or some of my students are really, they're in 5th grade, but they're really working on a pre-primer level, ABC Mouse is fantastic. Yes. So how many of you out there using ABCmouse.com? It's great for a K through 2. Well, Catherine, you can use it for your baby now. It's free for educators. And they have thousands of pieces of content available on all different subjects. It's colorful. It's just fantastic. So let's see what they have here for chemical change. Let's do that again. Chemical change. Let's say physical change. That is not true. Earlier today, I went on and checked it out, and they had something on chemicals and physical change. I guess right now my internet is just being overloaded with so much stuff open. But I'm telling you, if you go there to abcmouse.com, they have lessons on chemical and physical changes in songs. So, it's available. It's free for teachers, and it's really great. So those are some resources that you can use. And of course, I always just search the internet. Every teacher in the state is using the same standards as you're using now. So they post different resources out there on Google. So Google is your friend. Last not least, I want to make sure that you're using the most important tool and a very valuable tool we have through Infinite Campus on TRL. Is everyone out there using TRL? Do you know what TRL is? So some people are saying yes, some people are saying no. Okay, so for my people who do not know what TRL, it's the teacher resource link. You go through Infinite Campus and you see this SLDS button. When you click the SLDS button, the Student Longitudinal Data System, that's what SLDS stands for. When you go into SLDS, they have multiple tabs across the top. This tab, TRL, is the teacher resource link. They have so many pieces of curated material, it will blow your mind. So you can go by the standard and search by standard. So if I say that I'm looking for a specific standard, then I can go here. I can go to the grade level. So it's 5th grade. And if I'm looking for something for science or social studies, I can pick my content. So I say science. And now when I go and select my course, it's going to say, okay, 5th grade science. Yep. It's going to show me every single standard, right? And as I scroll through the standards, I have to have me scrolling through all the standards. I'll just pick one for our purposes. Oh, here we go. Chemical and physical change. Guess what? It's the Studies GM's activity. When you click on the activity, it's going to take you straight to that same lesson that I showed you before. Okay? So it's a great tool. It has the science curriculum map. It has everything in here that you may need with activities for every standard. So if you didn't know about it before, now you know. Teacher resource link, you can find things by standard. All right, so let's move on. So that's all my resources. I don't want to save, so I'm pressing cancel. Yeah, thank you so much for trying to help me. I'm going to go next. And now I have discussions. Anyone who knows me knows this about me. I am a writing teacher. Every day, all day, I'm a writing teacher. So because of that fact, I want to make sure that whenever I teach my students anything on math, on science, on social studies, and ELA, they're always going to have a connection back to writing, because writing is the way that you communicate. So not only speaking helps you communicate, writing helps you communicate. And on the state standards and on the state milestone, the assessment, that even though we're not taking that this year, believe you me, they're coming back to it next year, right? So the students are going to have to explain their thinking. They have to explain what they know. This is the most important informative assessment because it shows you how they're thinking. And this way you can help correct it, right? So here's a discussion. Do you like cookies? Yes or no? Is that worth discussing? Would that be a good discussion question? No, that is a horrible discussion question. Any question that you can answer with yes or no. Oh, look, yes or no, the wrong no. Oh, Lord. But if you can answer a question with the word yes or no, then why bother wasting their time? You had them log into Canvas, go to discussions, read your information just to say yes or no. You could have had them just put their hand up for a poll, yes or no, right? So a discussion should be worth discussing. I'm going to say that again. A discussion needs to be worth discussing. So here's a sample discussion question that would be a good discussion question. In 2 or 3 paragraphs, describe and explain how physical and chemical changes are alike and different. Be sure to include a variety of sentence types. That can be interrogative, exclamatory, compound, complex, simple, and adjectives and adverbs, and voice. I always tell them, don't bore me. Put some voice in your paper to your informational paragraph. Now, it's been a while since your students may have heard about adjectives and adverbs. So you're not going to just say, oh, go ahead and include these adjectives and adverbs. You're going to give them extra help, right? So what I did was I included a video right in the page so that if they forgot what an adverb is, here's a little help. So you want to make sure that you build in supports. You don't want to make a module and assume students know what you're talking about. So you want to build in supports in each part of the module. So as they get there, they can be independent learners, especially in 5th grade. You kind of sometimes forget they're still kids. They still need help and they still forget things, right? Because we all forget things. So why not build in that help for them? And that will be something that's going to help you. When you help them, you help you. All right, so we're moving on to our next piece of the module. And if you forgot how to make a discussion, guess what? Click here and it's going to take you to learn how to make a discussion on your own. The next part are assignments. You want to give your students an assignment in a module, or maybe you'll say, I gave them a discussion, I gave them vocabulary, I gave them a resource page, that's enough. Okay, fine. But if you're like me, I like to make sure that I give my students the opportunity to shine, right? So I want them to be able to collaborate with each other. So using a Google Doc, a slide, or a sheet, you help them be able to not work by themselves, especially when they're home. There's many students who are home alone right now. My daughter's the only child. She's home alone. She has nobody to communicate with. So really doing something collaborative to make them still feel part of the class is cool. So Google allows you to do that, as well as Microsoft Office. So those collaboration tools are great. I hope that you attended our sessions on collaborative features this week with Google and Microsoft. All these courses were built to help you so that when you came to this point, you know what we're talking about. The same thing about Flipgrid. Did you go to the Flipgrid this week? Yes, and you are ready for this. You are so ready because in Flipgrid, Miss Johnson showed you how to use Flipgrid. And if you did not go, then you need to go back and watch her video. We're going to post them sometime, hopefully by tomorrow, so that you can go and learn how to use Flipgrid. Flipgrid is a way that your students can show you what they know. If they're making something, they can make a Flipgrid video and show you and say, hey, look, I physically know a physical change is tearing up a piece of paper. So, Miss Johnson, this is a physical change. Then I can take a match, light that match. Hopefully they really don't do that. But for example, light that match on that piece of paper and now say, this is a chemical change because it produced smoke. It's not the same thing. Now there are ashes. Them showing you helps you understand what they really know. Do they need to answer 20 questions to do that? No. They just showed you what they knew, right? And if they didn't have the answer correct, then you can see where they went wrong. So in an assignment, you can have them upload a video, make a discovery education board, make a book on Book Creator, use Google Docs, Slides, or Microsoft Words to put inside of this assignment. It's exciting. I'm excited just thinking about it. And if you don't remember how to do that, what do you think we did? We gave you some support. So you click here to learn how to do that. Now don't publish any of these pages. These are just for you in case you forgot along the way. And you can add extension activities. Your extension activities, once you taught the crust, you can have your students make a video, create and perform a song, make a graphic organizer, do a poem, do something. Maybe they have a piano at home or a violin or a guitar and they like to do music. This is a great way to invite them into your classroom authentically. Because this was a science lesson, how could I have a science lesson without a phenomena? So for my review activity, the students are going to create elephant toothpaste. That's weird, right? You think I made that up? No, I did not make that up. I got that straight from Godot. And on Godot, I went to their, what is it called? Anyhow, they had all of these activities. So this is one of the Godot activities. This is a phenomenon. So the students are going to use a Flipgrid to document the results of making this elephant toothpaste and argue. Why do you think I put the word argue? Where did I get that word argue, whether or not compare whether it's a physical or chemical change? Exactly. So I got it from the standards. Remember, everything in here is standards based. So the last thing, I have another phenomenon, which was cool too, the frameworks, that's the word. I got it from the frameworks. And now here I am back at my post-assessment. If I did a good job as a teacher, my students are going to take that same assessment that they took before the pre-assessment, and they're going to kill the post-assessment because they've used the resources, they've made different products, and they know that they have learned, I know that they have learned everything that they were supposed to based in those goals. I can do this, I can do that, I can do, they should be able to say, I can, right? Those I can statements are true. Are you ready now to make your own module. Yes, Rhonda. Yes, Catherine. Yes, yes, yes. Everybody's saying yes. So let's import. You ready? All right. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to the C down here. This is the commons. You see that C? So you have your second screen open. You can hear me. You can hear my voice. You're going to look at it. So we are going to the commons. Here we are in the commons. Now, you can do one or two things. You can say, I'm going to search by your name. So you can look at my name, Jennifer Williams. And here's my module. Or you can type in NCSS. So you can either search either way. My module is called NCSS Sample Elementary Blended Learning Module. Now, if you're one of my friends and you're on here and you are a secondary person, Missy Johnson created a module. It's called NCSS 6th Grade Plate Tectonic Sample Module. That's more appropriate for middle school. But the one we're going to import right now is the NCSS Sample Elementary Blended Learning Module. I want you to click on that. And then you'll notice that it gives you a preview. So whenever you're in the comments, it kind of gives you a preview. Now, I walked you through everything, so you don't have to preview it. So either you're going to search by my name, Jennifer Williams, and it has this E, elementary. It's called the NCSS Sample Elementary Blended Learning Module, or you type in NCSS. So once you're here, I want you to click import/download. Oh, we can't get your horses at this time. Why not? I think Canvas is having an issue. Is anyone else having an issue? Oh no. Canvas is having an issue at the moment. Let's see. I'm going to refresh my page. See if that does anything. I hate that we got all the way here and it spazzes out. Okay. Ah, there you go. Refresh your page. I just refreshed my page and it showed up. And then I am going to click on the course that I want this to go to. And then I scroll all the way down to the bottom. And I say import into course. And you know that you have imported because it says you have successfully started the import. It might take a little while. It depends on how big your module is. If your module is huge, then it would have taken a long time, but my module is not that big. It's only a couple of pages. Okay. So I want you to go back to your dashboard and go to the course that you added it to. Now, let me give you a suggestion, friends. And I should have said this before you import it, but you could import again. If you have a homeroom, I would go ahead and import it to my homeroom class so that all the students have access to it. So if you haven't created your own class or your own master super class or master class, then I would go ahead and put it into my my course. That's my homeroom so that I'll have all my students, all my Quest students, all my EL students, all my SPED students, and all my regular mainstream students all in one place. That's where those are the people who are in your homeroom. Or if you created a master course, then you can put it in that master course and hopefully you have all your students already there. Now, once you've imported the module into your course, where do you think you need to go to find it? Modules, yes. Yes, Nicole. You go to modules. So you go to modules. And now your course is here. So for the next 20 minutes, this is what's going to happen. I am going to be here. Dr. Hutchinson is going to be here. And Ms. Johnson is going to be here to support you. We are here to answer any questions you have as you start building your own module. So think about it to yourself. Are you going to create a module for a week? Are you going to create a module for a unit? Are you going to create a module for a standard? Before you do that, let me show you two important things. Let's say that you love the whole idea of the module, but you didn't like that the goals were after the vocabulary. So if you want to move the goals, just go to the left-hand side, to this little navigation bar, and you can drag and move any page. So now I have my I can statements directly after the standard. Maybe the vocabulary I feel should come after the pre-assessment. So I can move my vocabulary after the pre-assessment. So you can move anything you want. Let's say you absolutely hate the vocabulary section and it's something that you don't want in your module. That's fine. My feelings are not hurt. I don't care what you do with this module. Do what you like, okay? It is your module now. You import it into your course. I won't see it. I don't care. Knock yourself out. So if you don't like something, you can click on those three dots, the ellipsis that's on the right-hand side, and you can remove it. You see that? Let's say that you love the activity page and you want multiple activity pages, you can duplicate it and it'll make another page. So now I have a copy and I'm just going to rename it. Instead of copy, I'm going to say vocabulary activity 2. And if I don't want my students to see it right now, I can just uncheck it and unpublish it. I'm not sure, but I don't want to delete it just yet. I'm just going to unpublish it right now until I work on it and make it better. All right, so go. And I'm going to be in the chat and I'm going to listen to what you have to say, and hopefully we'll be able to answer any questions you have. So modules are available for younger students, yes. So Sherry, go ahead and just press refresh. Try again. I mean, I personally would use modules with all students. For example, right now, my daughter is home and she's a 2nd grade student. Her teacher gives assignments every day, but I'm helping her and the assignments are all over the place. It's like, here, I gotta go there, I gotta go to Brain Pop, then we're going to vocabulary, then we're going to this place, then we're going to Epic, then we're going to Mayan. If there was a module that the teacher created where there was one place where I'm going and clicking, how much better would that make my life? A lot better. But now I'm just all over the place trying to keep track of where I need to go next to help her. So a module could be for the parents too, to help them stay organized with what their children need to do. So Melissa said, maybe off topic, but how do we upload our Zoom meetings to our Canvas page for parents, students, and admin to see? Well, let me think. Okay, so this is something that's brand new. Okay, Melissa, it just came out this week. But over here on the left-hand side, it says Cisco WebEx. Newton County supports WebEx. So if you clicked on Cisco WebEx, you can record any meetings that you have, and you can do class chats right in Canvas through WebEx. So when I go here, I can go ahead and set it up, and we're going to have a training on that soon, probably when we come back from the break. But until then you can go ahead and my daughter keeps coming in here trying to ask me questions. I'm sorry. Until then, go ahead and paste it in there. Paste the link to your Zoom meeting if you recorded it. If students are doing a module, how would they turn in their assignments? They would turn in their assignments basically the same way they would do an assignment outside a module, whatever way you told them to. So if you told them to upload an assignment, they would upload it in assignments. If you told them to type in, then they would do it. If you put it into a Google Docs, then it would come through your Google Doc. It depends, Courtney, on how you assigned it to them. No, you don't have to create drop boxes. Y'all asking so many questions. Casey or Jama, can you drop the help link? This help button here to the left, it says help. If you click here and you go to search the Canvas guides, you can type in your specific question and it's going to give you the answer to some of the questions that you guys are asking about, like where do my kids go after the assignments? So I would just go to the Canvas guides and type in that question on assignments. You can also watch the videos that I dropped in to the module, and the videos are going to take you step by step where the assignments go. How do you see a quiz? What do you do for quizzes? One thing I like to do is that after I give my students an assignment or a module, or after I make a module, I always make sure that I go in and try to test it out as a student. So if you want to know how it looks or where it's going to go ahead and just go to your settings. And then go to student view. And student view allows you to see information just as your students do. So I'm looking at Rachel's question about multiple subjects in one Canvas page. I would have 3 different modules created, one for one subject, one for another subject, one for the third subject. So my friends who are on, I know that most of you are busy working on your page right now. Remember, we're going to be on with you until 4 o'clock. So as you're working on your module, if you do have a question, we'll be able to answer you through the chat. I'm going to stop talking so that you have opportunity to, so I have opportunity to look in the chat and not disturb you while you're working. If you decide to get off the call, I just want to tell you, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you. We know you could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be at DJ Jenny Jen's dance party, AKA Canvas 103. Oh, that could be my station, my radio station, Canvas 103 FM.